Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is the second annual Accessibility in STEM dinner. Thank you all for being here and showing your support. Oh, sorry about that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Diana García-Becerra. I'm a third-year mechanical engineering student here at Santa Clara. I am the SHPE TINA's director for SHPE, which is the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers here on campus. Once again, thank you all for being here and showing your support. This dinner is made possible through the School of Engineering, College of Arts and Sciences, Office of Multicultural Learning, Rainbow Resource Center, Inclusive Excellence Division, LEAD, Ciocca Center, the Ideas Coalition, the Disabled Student Union, as well as the Office of Accessible Education for guiding it the whole way through. This dinner is to show that you are not alone and that there are people out there like you that are struggling. We are here tonight to celebrate you. So take a moment to reflect how far you've made it and take pride in that fact. Now, without further ado, please welcome our opening speakers. The first one up is Wiebe, who is on the student advisor board for the Ciocca Center. So please give him a round of applause. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Wiebe. I'm a computer science and engineering student, and I'm one of the co-chairs of the Student Advisory Board. If you haven't heard of the Ciocca Center, we're focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. So we're focused on instilling these entrepreneurial values across campus. We have a couple of different programs: Mindset Scholars, Innovation Fellows, Venture Virtuoso, and Beach. As well as the Business Pitch Competition and the Bronco Venture Accelerator. And we're happy to be proud sponsors of this event. Approximately 1.3 billion people, or 1 in 6, have a significant disability. And as innovators and entrepreneurs on campus and beyond, we are responsible and tasked with centering accessibility in what we create and how we act. And we focus on empathy, seeking challenges as opportunities, tolerating risk, and creating long-term value creation for the benefit of all. So the Ciocca Center is dedicated to fostering this program of inclusive innovation throughout all of its programs, and I'd invite you to come check out what the Ciocca Center has to offer and how you can get involved in innovation and entrepreneurship. And yeah, great. Thank you so much to Ricky and DISC for putting on this event. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. And next up is Bernell Nevil, who is the Associate Director for the Office of Multicultural Learning. So please give him a round of applause.
Thank you for that one woo.
So good evening, everybody. How are we feeling today? That was real lethargic. It's okay. I'll be excited enough for all of us here in this space. So my name is Bernell Nevil. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I serve as the Associate Director in the Office for Multicultural Learning, which includes the Rainbow Resource Center. And I'm so thankful to be invited here today to speak at tonight's Accessibility Dinner and help sponsor this event. As part of the Inclusive Excellence Division, the Office for Multicultural Learning is committed to promoting social justice, building bridges across diverse communities, and celebrating differences of students, staff, and faculty at Santa Clara University. The Rainbow Resource Center works to maintain an affirming, inclusive, and welcoming environment for peoples of all identities within the wide spectrum of sexual orientations and gender identities at SCU. Uplifting and centering identities that have been historically marginalized is the heart of our work in OML and RSC. Disability and accessibility are an important part of those conversations around identity, so we're working to make sure that is reflected in the work of our office. As part of the work that we do, OML RSC works to coordinate the campus calendars of events for Cultural Heritage Month celebrations. At SCU, we recognize October as Disability Awareness Month. In recognition of that month, we hosted a movie screening of the documentary Crip Camp, A Disability Revolution, available now on Netflix. Definitely check it out. The film chronicles summers at Camp Jened in the early 1970s and follows campers who go on to become activists in the disability rights movement in their fight for accessibility legislation. We also did a giveaway of book copies of the book, Demystifying Disability, What to Know, What to Say, and How to Be an Ally by Emily Ladeau. We held space just this last week to gather folks together who read the book and talk about the themes and implications for what it means for our life here at Santa Clara University. Lastly, we conducted a series of interviews with leadership for the Disability Student Union. You can see those videos posted right now on our social media, our Instagram accounts, at SCUOML or RRC_SCU. You'll see the videos of the president and vice president talking about their experiences of navigating life here on our campus. Accessibility inclusion can, and should exist outside the month of October. Looking ahead, my office will be hosting our very next lunch and learn in the winter quarter about the disabled student experience. If there's something that you'd like to help coordinate with us, please reach out to us or me or my office. Happy to coordinate with you. We also have we've also been working to make some changes to our 3 office newsletters to make sure the content is accessible for assistive technology. OML-RC is committed to working with the Office of Accessible Education and others in order to do our part to work towards a more inclusive and accessible SCU. As was talked about earlier, statistics of people in this world who have disabilities is rather high. They're the largest minority group in the world. Recent numbers from the CDC indicate that up to 1 in 4 Americans have a disability. And when thinking about it in the STEM context, according to data from the National Science Foundation, people with disabilities are underrepresented in STEM occupations and companion to others who share. Proofreading is important, y'all, so this word is not what I meant to be. People with disabilities are represented in STEM occupations in comparison with their share of the general U.S. population. There we go. STEM workers with disabilities also earn less than those without disabilities. And to quote Dr. Bonnie Lynn Swinner, who lives with myopic macular degeneration, it's really beyond time that we reimagine STEM so that people with disabilities are included from the start, included as trainees, included as leaders. And that's really what these conversations are all about. Doing that not just because it's the right thing to do, but doing that because it's good for science. So I'm here to say, on behalf of OMA-RC, we are here for you, we are here with you, and we're here to help. So if any ways that my office can help support you on your journeys to navigating campus, feel free, don't be strangers, stop by my office. OMA is located at 832 Market Street, just across the street from Swick Residence Hall. The RC is literally in this building, right down the hallway. Look for all the rainbows. It's a very queer space, very friendly, very affirming. We're here to help you, and just let us know how we're going to accompany you on this journey. Again, look, I thought I'd get more applause at the end. Yes, thank you for the other woo. I appreciate you all.
Thank you so much. Now our next speaker is Ricky, who is one of the organizers of this event. So please give him a round of applause.
Thank you all. I just want to take a minute to thank all of you for being here, and just the importance of these types of dinners and making sure that, while the university and us in STEM, we want to get student feedback, we want to hear student concerns, but it takes creating spaces that are safe, that are inclusive, to be able to get that authentic feedback. So I just want to thank all of you for being here, and to know that, just like what Bernell said, I'm here to be a resource. DISC is here to be a resource for all students, for all faculty and all staff. Because in order to build a community that feels seen, heard, and supported, it takes building spaces where people can feel seen, heard, and supported. And so I also want to, again, thank you all for being here, for supporting all the dinners that we've been doing over the last couple years, to encourage all of you at the end of today, before you leave, or when I email, to please fill out the feedback form, because it's going to take the data to prove the importance of dinners like this one for us to be able to continue to have them. Because again, it takes people in the space, and for you to see people who are not in these spaces, do not attend these spaces, are a lot of our big decision makers that can decide if these spaces or these events happen. So again, no pressure right now to do it. But again, just thank you all. It means a lot. For those that know me and know that you've been to these dinners, I don't speak, mainly because I really want to highlight the voices of our students. of those that are supporting our students and faculty and staff across campus. But to me, this is important, to make sure that the spaces we make are accessible and everyone is thought of when we make events, when we create amazing things in the Maker Lab or in the Robotic Systems Lab or plays or speeches, that everything can be as inclusive as possible without having to be called out on it by the person that it affects. That it should be having everybody in the room making these decisions, making these plans, so that way everyone from the beginning can feel seen, heard, and supported, rather than after the fact there's an apology or something is not done right. So with that, thank you all. We'll take about 10 minutes to start dinner. So dinner, I believe, is now fully out. So feel free to have dinner. There's also still the appetizers, and then we'll convene back together to have our panel in roughly 10 to 15 minutes once Dr. King arrives from teaching her class. Thank you.
Hello? Hi, welcome back. So now we're going to start with the panel. I'm going to introduce you guys to our panelists. So our first one is Dr. King, who's the assistant professor here at the department in Sociology. And then the next one is a student who's also part of SHPE, whose name is Will Torborg. So please come up. Give them a big, warm welcome. Hi. Here you go. Yes, of course. Okay. To start this off, we're going to start with the question, what inspired you to do what you do today and to end up here at Santa Clara tonight?
You want to take this one?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Hi, and thank you for joining us. And feel free to move around. Those of you I can't see behind the column if you want at any point. As she mentioned, I'm Molly King in sociology, and what inspired me, assistant professor, I actually started my journey in biology. I was an undergraduate major in biology, and I ended up in sociology because I was very driven to find solutions for inequality in terms of like finding solutions for health inequalities, and I realized that lab work wasn't necessarily the pathway I wanted to follow for that, but I became very interested in finding inequalities among people and or finding solutions for inequalities among people. And so for a couple of years, I thought about going into health policy, and then I decided to pursue a graduate degree in sociology, and now I study scientific careers and inequalities in scientific careers. So I'm here in that capacity, and also in my capacity as a social scientist.
So I'm Will. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a senior studying mechanical engineering. A little bit about my background. I'm from San Jose, California, so just down the street. And yeah, I have dyslexia and ADHD, so being a disabled student in STEM is sort of my capacity and my background in sort of being what we're talking about and offering my perspective from the student point of view is what I'm doing here. And yeah.
Awesome. So what does it mean for you to be here sharing your journeys? To start?
I can take this one. I had the opportunity, similar to this, to speak at Stanford. There was a neurodiversity project there that I was able to attend and speak to, but really to speak to the younger generation and to show that at the time I was transferring from high school into college, and really just showing that I don't want to like say, but like inspire the younger generation that to show that despite how these disabilities may seem in the public point of view, that you're still able to do many great things. The first challenge is getting into college and getting through high school, but ultimately, we all have subsections of our journeys, and for me to share this college subsection to you guys is what I'm doing, what it's all about. But yeah.
I think STEM and academia in general need more people from all walks of life. And so one of the reasons that I'm happy to be here with you all tonight is that I think part of the challenge of being disabled in STEM is that there are very few role models, ROLE and ROLL. And it's okay, that was a bad joke. Y'all can laugh. Thank you. Yeah. I had to spell it because, homophones are hard. So I think I don't necessarily, it is harder living life with a disability, I imagine, than it is without. But I don't necessarily see that as, it's just my life. I don't really know what it is to be otherwise. But I think what it means for me to be here tonight is that I just want y'all to know it's possible. And so that's what showing up to work is for me. It's just I'm here and you can do it too. You can be in STEM and it's just normal.
Awesome. So this one's for Dr. King. What are your thoughts on STEM careers and inequalities, including how disability affects those careers specifically?
Thanks. Yeah. So I wanted to introduce y'all, especially those leaders or professors in the room, but also students. There's a great resource from the National Science Foundation. It's called Access Advance, and it's through the University of Washington. It's a whole program dedicated to studying the barriers for people with disabilities in STEM. It does focus more specifically on women with disabilities, but also generally people with disabilities. And it has a lot of great resources on how to make science more accessible to people with disabilities. Including, how to make labs more accessible, how to make hiring more accessible. So I think that can be a really great resource for those of us who are teaching or running labs or mentoring, but also for those of us who are looking ahead to careers in science. And I think I was just reflecting on this and a couple of conversations I'd had recently, and I think that one of the biggest challenges in terms of the pace of science and engineering, and honestly the academy in general, and disability can often be the challenges of living in a disabled body and the pace that's demanded of either the certain timing demanded from lab work or just the productivity demands of science. And so I think to the degree possible, and I'll talk about a couple of other suggestions I have later, but to the degree possible that we can normalize changing up those timescales for everyone, right? Not just for people with disabilities, but for anyone who needs a break sometimes, or to take time because they're ill, or to take time because, maybe their body just isn't working the way they need to, and have somebody step in and, take over an experiment, or maybe just put a hold on writing up that publication for a couple of days. I think that will reduce the inequalities in STEM and honestly make science a lot more a lot more accessible and friendly to a lot of different types of people from a lot of different backgrounds.
This next question is for Will. Can you share your journey to getting support and what you learned? Sorry, wait. Can you share your journey to getting the support you learned you needed to be successful?
Yeah, so, I mean, you guys should probably have my mom up here to describe this because she really fought for me. When I was in, I think it was elementary school is when I was originally diagnosed, and growing up in the San Jose public school system, it was really difficult to not have a full IEP because I had a 504 plan, right? I think that's what I have and don't have. It could be the other way around. But regardless, it's really difficult to have one and not the other to get accommodations. And it was really through her fighting for me as a young kid. I had no idea. I didn't know I was different. We were all kids. I didn't know there was a reason I couldn't pay attention to class. I thought I was just young. People thought I was just young. But ultimately, she knew because she went through her whole schooling system without the help, and she has dyslexia as well. And so she really thought that, she could see the signs in me, and it being genetic, my dad also has it, so, I lucked out, I guess, right? But yeah, just seeing the signs early and really going for it was something that my mother did. Personally, I think that, I struggled with accepting really early on, just because, being different and in school, it's not a good look. You want to fit in. It's like whether it starts in high school or even in college. I transferred from De Anza, so coming into this new environment out of COVID was a completely new experience for me. And so I'm just trying to fit in, and that's sort of what I did, just trying to be a chameleon, just go with the flow, go with the rest of the engineers. But I'm really accepting who I am as a person, and understanding that maybe I do need a little more help in terms of taking a space with less distractions to take tests and various other things of that aspect that I just really came to accept and understand that it's not a requirement for everyone, but it is for me to really be successful here in college.
This question is for both of you guys. So what challenges have you faced and do you still face that some might take for granted, and how are you overcoming them?
I can start out with this one. So my disabilities are not visible, which is one thing that a lot of people sort of get wrong. It's like, oh, if it's not visible, it's not there. Or it's something that's made up. And so generally, the general population does not believe that I need help, even though I do. And so it's really hard to get past that hurdle to explain every time why I have these things, why I have these accommodations. And yeah, it's sort of a little hiccup in the way. But I'd say even more of a disadvantage I really see is when you're able to succeed with these accommodations, given the accommodations, a lot of people think that you don't need them anymore. That oh, he did good in the class, he doesn't need these anymore, he'll be fine. But ultimately it's realizing that it's because I'm able to show my true potential as a student. And another thing, it really comes from other students, really. It's not like a faculty problem that I've really seen. It's really other students just saying, oh, well, if he has a good grade in that class, why does he get to take classes or tests with extra time? He doesn't need it. But it's really just trying to get around those barriers from set up by my peers, and just really showing that this is who I am, this is what I have, and I'm gonna take advantage of my accommodations regardless, and do the best I can here in college.
I think, thanks. I think honestly, the biggest challenges I faced were envisioning that somebody like me could do this job. It was very hard for me to find role models and to find just general models for working that were sustainable for me. In addition to being to the obvious physical disability, I've been in a wheelchair, or I was disabled since birth and used a wheelchair since I was about 8. I've also have repetitive strain injuries in my hands that I got during grad school. It turns out when you write a lot,